We have 1.5 million children on the street, and we have 1.2 million adults, single adults on the street, experiencing some type of homelessness. And out of the adults, 650,000 are the, if you will call it street level, the folks you see on the street that are in and out of the mission or an emergency facility. Mm-hmm. And that group, and I'm not talking about all the homeless, but I'm just talking about that 650. The one that most of the media are talking about, President Trump talked about last night and others, is the issue of untreated mental illness and substance abuse. And that's what's 3/4 of what you see out the window on the street when you're driving. And it's normally self-medicating because of the untreated mental illness.
And then you have those that, so many people in America are living paycheck to paycheck. There are economic issues that are really wearing people out, if you can say it like that. And, you know, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and something happens with that paycheck, you're in trouble.
In the particular, and I don't mean to sort of oversimplify, but the best example of that is the single mother, clean and sober, has a job, has 2 or 3 kids, and the knuckleheaded boyfriend or father is started to become abusive. She splits from him, so she loses half the income, and now she's trying to take care of 2 or 3 kids, plus herself, plus housing, get to work, get the kids there, and that's all about economics. But it started as domestic violence, and then it ends in an economic challenge.
Robert Marbut is joining us today here on the Meeting House on Faith Radio. The author of the interactive study guide. It's called No Address. That's the name of the movie. And the documentary, well, the documentary is actually Americans with No Address, but No Address is the feature film due out later this year. But the interactive study guide is No Address, an interactive study guide. Robert Marbut joining us today here on the Meeting House on Faith Radio. So why is it that when we look at this overall issue and how we as the church, we as Christians can respond, obviously movie and documentary are important, but you're leading, if you will, with the interactive study guide. So why is that?
And we're leading with the study guide. In essence, it's a Bible study that you could do over a month. You could do it individually. We could do it in a small group. You could do it as a whole congregation. And what we're basically trying to go through is some of the myths of homeless, some of the facts of homeless, but most importantly, what can you actually do? Because and we have this great line with Max Lucado in the video. He says, no one person can solve this problem, but every person can do something. And that's what we're trying to do is, what is it? Time, talent, and treasures. But also it's like, don't go set up another nonprofit. Go help the rescue mission. Go help the Salvation Army. Go help one of the good independent groups. Don't go off and compete, collaborate. So we go through a lot of that. And it's really important. The community of faith led the way. After the Civil War, we had the orphans and widowers. And the widows that were coming out of the war the government didn't have support. We didn't have Social Security, Medicaid, all those sorts of things. And it was the faith community, the church community that stepped up. And that's where Salvation Army gets formed in the United States. That's where the Bowery Mission, which is the first rescue mission in the country, they come along within just a handful of years after the Civil War. And they do it really for 120 years till the federal government in 1987, over 120 years later, says, no, we want to try to get involved. And by the way, when they get involved, the numbers start going up. Now, and that's not the total story, because you also have the advent of fentanyl, which is really, with fentanyl combined with some bad government policy is what really has taken off homelessness.